He was the heartthrob of daytime television, a global sensation as Ridge Forrester on The Bold and the Beautiful. But Ronn Moss's real life is even more intriguing than his most dramatic on-screen moments. In 2025, he's living a life far removed from the studio lights, surrounded by luxury, love, and a quiet kind of fame that only a few ever experience. With a stunning partner by his side, 2 grown children, a breathtaking mansion, and a collection of sleek cars, Moss's world is one of elegance and mystery. Think you know Ronn Moss? Ronn Moss carved out a rare kind of career, one that crossed the boundaries of daytime television stardom and classic rock and roll. With a net worth of $8 million, he became a household name as Ridge Forrester, the impeccably coiffed fashion heir on The Bold and the Beautiful, a role he embodied from the show's 1987 debut all the way through 2012. For 25 years, he was the brooding center of romantic storms and boardroom drama, a soap opera icon known from Los Angeles to Luxembourg. But Moss didn't stop at daytime drama. From 2015 to 2020, he re-emerged in a very different light, playing John Blackwell in the digital crime drama The Bay, showing audiences that there was still more edge and intrigue to the man behind Ridge. Long before he ever stepped onto a soap set, however, Moss was already chasing another dream. Born on March 4, 1952 in Los Angeles, he grew up surrounded by the pulse of rock music and the pull of the theater. By age 11, he was teaching himself to play the drums, guitar, and bass, laying the foundation for what would become a lifelong love affair with music. In the 1970s, Moss co-founded the band Flair, known for their chart-topping hit, Baby Come Back. The track became a slow-burning anthem of love and longing, and it catapulted the group into rock history. While his face became known for steamy soap showdowns, his voice carried a different kind of heat, one wrapped in rhythm and melody. Back in 1976, long before he became a daytime television heartthrob, Ronn Moss was deep in the pulse of rock and roll. That year, he co-founded the band Flair alongside Peter Beckett, J.C. Crowley, and John Friesen. The quartet quickly caught the ear of legendary music mogul Robert Stigwood, the man behind acts like the Bee Gees and Cream. Under his RSO Records label, Flair released their self-titled debut album in 1977, and with it, lightning struck. Baby Come Back, the smooth, irresistible single from that first album, soared straight to #1 on the US charts. Suddenly, Flair was everywhere, on the radio, on magazine covers, and burned into the hearts of anyone who'd ever longed for a lost love. Their follow-up single, This Time I'm In It for Love, landed in the top 10, solidifying their place in soft rock history. But fame is rarely without friction. By the time Flair released their second album, Danger Zone, in 1978, with a grittier, more rock-driven edge, the seams had begun to show. Internal tension led to the exit of first Beckett, then Crowley. Still, Moss wasn't ready to let go. Beckett eventually returned to the fold with Moss and Friesen, and together they released Room with a View in 1980, followed by Spies of Life in 1981. But by 1982, Flair had reached the end of its first chapter. The story didn't end there, though. In 1995, the band made a quiet but passionate comeback with Electric Shadow, released initially in Japan and later retitled Lost in Reality for US audiences in 1996. A nostalgic spark was lit, and in 1997, Flair performed a triumphant reunion show at the Hollywood Palladium. The tour that followed in 1998 revived old magic. Touring continued until 2003, when guitarist Michael Hakes sadly passed away. 4 years later, Flair rose again, this time with fresh energy and a new lineup. In 2013, they dropped Too Many Reasons, their first studio album in 18 years. That same year, they joined the Sail Rock Tour, traveling across North America and bringing their timeless hits to new audiences. An Australian tour followed in 2014, and in 2015, they shared the stage with fellow classic rock staples Orleans and Ambrosia. Eventually, Moss and Beckett branched off, continuing to perform together and separately in a mix of player revivals and solo adventures. Moss, ever the creative force, didn't confine himself to group dynamics. His solo music journey began with I'm Your Man in 2000 and continued with Uncovered in 2005. Whether backed by a full band or taking the stage on his own, Moss kept chasing the sound. In 2019, he toured Australia again, this time alongside player bandmate John Starr, proof that, decades later, the rhythm was still running through his veins. His first foray into film came in 1983 with Hearts and Armor, an Italian fantasy epic, where he stepped into the role of the legendary hero Ruggiero. Picture a sun-drenched medieval battlefield and Moss, sword in hand, striding into myth. It wasn't just an acting gig, it was his cinematic baptism. 2 years later, he dipped his toes into American television with a guest spot on Trapper, John M.D., but the true turning point came in 1987. That year, everything changed. Moss became Ridge Forrester, the brooding, sharply dressed prince of fashion on CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful. It was a role he would inhabit for an astonishing 25 years, turning smoldering looks and slow-burn drama into an art form. In the same breakout year, he traded silk suits for action gear in the cult classic Hard Ticket to Hawaii, adding beachside explosions to his resume. After taking a step back from acting in the 90s to focus on music and personal projects, Moss resurfaced in 2000 with a key role in the action thriller The Alternate. It was a reminder that while Ridge might have made him famous, Moss was no one-trick pony. In 2002, he showed a clever wink to his soap opera legacy by portraying what else? A soap actor in a guest role on HBO's acclaimed series 6 Feet Under. In 2008, Moss ventured into voice acting, lending his pipes to the animated Disney film Bolt, where he voiced Dr. Forrester, a sly nod to his soap opera fame. Then came another pause from the screen, but Moss isn't the type to fade quietly. In 2015, he came back strong with 2 roles at once, a recurring part on the Flemish soap Family, which introduced his charm to a new European fanbase, and the central role of John Blackwell in the Emmy-winning streaming crime drama The Bay. His return was met with acclaim, and he expanded his presence with holiday TV films like Rossi and White, and This Is Our Christmas, proving he could bring heart as well as heat. By 2022, he was back on the big screen in the offbeat comedy Surprise Trip, showing that even decades into his career, Moss still had fresh moves and unexpected chapters ahead. And then, there were his turns under the reality TV spotlight. In 2010, he strutted across Italian screens in their version of Dancing with the Stars, paired with pro dancer Sara Di Vira. His rhythm and undeniable European fan base carried him all the way to second place. 4 years later, he swapped lives and households in an episode of Celebrity Wife Swap, serving up another side of the man viewers thought they already knew. Back in 2005, stepped away from the Hollywood spotlight to find some peace and privacy in the rolling hills of Camarillo, California. That year, he bought a secluded estate for $2.35 million, nestled on a generous 6.5-acre parcel that offered not only space but serenity, far from the relentless buzz of Los Angeles. Though the home has since changed hands, its character and the image of Perlman retreating into this quiet corner of Southern California lingers. At 4,500 square feet, the residence wasn't necessarily enormous by celebrity standards, but it was elegant, warm, and tailored for comfort rather than show. Driving up to the property, visitors would pass through a private gated entrance and wind through a long driveway lined with mature trees and well-maintained landscaping that gradually opened up to reveal the home's understated Mediterranean-style exterior. Stepping inside, the house immediately welcomed guests with a sense of relaxed luxury. The foyer opened into wide, sunlit rooms with high-beamed ceilings and wide plank wood floors. Arched entryways led from one area to the next, giving the layout a natural flow that suited both everyday living and larger-scale entertaining. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed views of the surrounding landscape, rolling lawns, distant ridges, and groves of oaks and eucalyptus. The heart of the home was, as always, the kitchen and living room area. Perlman's kitchen was built for someone who appreciated the art of cooking, or at least enjoyed being in a space where meals were more than just routine. Think granite countertops, custom wood cabinetry, a professional-grade range, and enough room to host a dinner party or a casual Sunday brunch with castmates or old friends. With 5 bedrooms throughout, the home offered ample space for family, guests, or even a dedicated office or studio. The primary suite felt like its own retreat within a retreat, spacious and tranquil, with French doors that opened out to the patio. The ensuite bathroom came complete with a deep soaking tub, a walk-in shower, and finishes that blended rustic charm with spa-like indulgence. Outside, the estate truly came into its own. A large pool and spa sat at the center of the backyard, bordered by flagstone patios and shaded seating areas. Nearby, a guest house or pool cabana offered extra space for overnight visitors or creative solitude. The land itself was one of the home's most enviable features. 6.5 acres of gently sloping terrain that provided not only privacy but endless potential. In 2013, Ronn listed the property for sale at $2.5 million, though it wouldn't sell until several years later, reportedly in 2017, at an undisclosed price. The listing photos from that time revealed a home well-loved but never overdone, filled with earthy tones, artistic touches, and a lived-in feel that seemed to reflect the man himself, unpretentious, grounded, and quietly strong. In 2005, Ron Perlman wasn't just buying peace and quiet. He was doubling down on Camarillo luxury. In addition to his 4,500 square foot hillside escape, the actor also shelled out $3.4 million for a second, far grander property in the same area, a sprawling 10,000 square foot estate that brought a completely different flavor to his California lifestyle. Set on 2 meticulously manicured acres, this estate wasn't just a house, it was a statement. From the moment you arrived at the gated entrance, the scale of it all was undeniable. A sweeping motor court welcomed you to a Mediterranean-style mansion with grand archways, soaring columns, and lush greenery surrounding every inch. Inside, the 6-bedroom, 9-bathroom palace opened into a massive double-height foyer with a chandelier that probably cost more than most people's cars. Marble floors reflected the light from towering windows, and a curved staircase led gracefully up to a second-floor gallery that overlooked the main living areas below. Every corner of the home seemed to be made for entertaining or impressing. The kitchen, meanwhile, wasn't just chef-ready. It was culinary show-worthy. Think twin center islands, commercial-grade appliances, custom cabinetry, and more counter space than most apartments have square footage. Upstairs, the primary suite was its own sanctuary. It included a separate sitting room with a fireplace, private terraces, dual walk-in closets, and a bathroom that could easily rival a luxury spa, complete with a soaking tub framed by picture windows, steam shower, and imported stone surfaces everywhere you looked. Of course, no mansion of this scale would be complete without its indulgent extras, and this one didn't disappoint. The estate featured a full home theater, a wood-paneled office, a private gym, and a game room, all wrapped in warm tones and rich textures that gave the home both polish and comfort. Stepping outside, the estate continued to deliver. Manicured gardens surrounded a huge pool and spa area, complete with fountains, a sunken fire pit lounge, and shaded patios perfect for alfresco dining. The grounds included grassy lawns, winding walkways, and tall hedges and trees that guaranteed total privacy. Ron originally listed this estate in 2013 for $3.75 million, right around the time he was also trying to offload his smaller Camarillo home. But the real estate market wasn't quite ready for it then, And the property didn't sell. It lingered. For years before finally closing in August 2022 for $3.6 million, a modest increase over his purchase price, but no doubt a meaningful closing to that chapter of his life. In the world of luxury cars where elegance meets power and personality is expressed through horsepower and handcrafted leather, Ronn Moss makes a statement with his garage. Each vehicle telling its own story, each ride reflecting a different facet of his life. At the heart of his collection sits a true gem, the Bentley Arnage. Valued at around $220,000, this automotive masterpiece is more than just a car. It's a rolling symbol of prestige, grace, and raw power. The Bentley Arnage doesn't whisper luxury, it announces it with a roar. Beneath its timelessly elegant exterior lies a mighty 7.0-liter V8 engine, ready to unleash 400 horsepower with the deep, refined growl that only a Bentley can muster. At 4,000 RPM, that power surges forward with 616 lb-ft of torque, propelling this stately machine from 0 to 60 mph in just 6 seconds. And if that doesn't impress you, it reaches the 100 knot mark in a mere 15. It's not just fast, it's dignified speed, delivered in velvet gloves. Open the door, and you're not just getting into a car, you're stepping into an experience. The interior is a symphony of indulgence. Rich, supple leather wraps the seats, the dash, the doors, even the headliner. Polished wood accents add warmth, while brass handles and chrome switches bring a nod to classic British craftsmanship. There's even a fold-out table attached to the back of the front seats, a subtle but refined nod to old-world travel, perfect for a quick note or firing up a laptop in between destinations. Rear passengers enjoy electronically adjustable seats that cater to the head, back, and legs, turning every journey into a first-class affair. But Moss's taste isn't confined to the realm of refined luxury. He's also got a wild side, and that's where the Jeep Wrangler comes in. Far from the polished streets where the Bentley cruises, the Wrangler is made for the mud, the rocks, and the roads less traveled. With a price tag that can soar to an eye-watering $440,000 in fully customized trims, this isn't your average Jeep. It's adventure in a boxy frame. Under the hood, a 4.0-liter V6 engine cranks out 285 horsepower, plenty of muscle for scaling hills or powering through sand and snow. Whether you're shifting gears with the classic 6-speed manual or enjoying the smooth precision of an 8-speed automatic, the Wrangler is about giving the driver control and a thrill. The interior, while not as grand as the Bentleys, holds its own with touches of luxury like Napa leather seats and heated front cushions. It's tough but polished, rugged yet comfortable. The elevated driving position doesn't just offer great visibility, it gives you command over whatever terrain lies ahead. Together, these two very different vehicles tell you everything you need to know about Ronn Moss. Ronn Moss has always lived a life that blends glamour with heartfelt chapters, and his personal journey in love has been no different. In 1990, he married actress and model Sherry Shattuck, a pairing that seemed to sparkle with Hollywood chemistry. Together, they built a life that included not only red carpet appearances and artistic pursuits, but also the joy of raising two daughters, Creason and Kaylee. For over a decade, they shared in the experience of family and fame until their paths eventually diverged, and they parted ways in 2002. Years later, love came knocking again, this time in the form of another actress and model, Devon DeVasquez. Known for her own flair and charisma, DeVasquez and Moss tied the knot in 2009, ushering in a new chapter of partnership that reflected both passion and resilience. Through it all, Ronn Moss has approached love much like he's approached the rest of his life, open-hearted, enduring, and always with a touch of rock and roll.